Okay, this is Cassville Art Education, and here we're going today start with the painting process. We're going to use actually acrylic paints. There's one paint that's slightly less of a paint than this one, which is actually a temper paint. But for the process of actually painting and making it a little bit nicer, I like to use the acrylics. Slightly more expensive, but again, we're going to use these, so just make sure you use them sparingly. Okay, and we have these in big bottles. Okay, and they're actually located. They're located over here in this cabinet, and they actually are located with all kinds of labels in front of what colors go where. Okay, so just make sure when you put them away, that's where they go. You can run back now. Okay, what we're going to be after with this lesson is we're actually going to make a color wheel. Okay, and actually what I'm doing is, in the past we've just designed this type of color wheel and painted it, but now I'm kind of letting the kids do their own designs. So they come up with their own designs, but again, you'll mainly have these exact colors is what we're after. Okay, when we paint these color wheels, what we want to do is we want to use the primary colors, and our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And with the red, yellow, and blue, we'll be able to make all the rest of the colors here. The only thing that we're going to need extra is white to make these tints of color. Okay, so you see here, if we go with a red, then we have tints of red that go from light to a little bit darker, to a little bit darker yet, and then a little bit darker, and then the red. Alright, so red, yellow, blue, and then a white is what we're after. Okay, so the colors you get out of the cabinet over there are, again, those colors: red, yellow, blue, and then a white. Alright. We're going to use a selection of brushes, so you can come in a little bit closer so you can see the brushes. I'll pick them up that way. Alright, you can use flat brushes, and flat brushes are typically used for painting in large areas of a painting. And again, we have three different sizes. There's like a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, and then a 1 inch brush, flat brush. Okay, and then I like to just do a pointed round brush. They call it a bristle brush. All right, and I tend to use three different sizes, but I'm going to make a selection of what do we have here? 6 different sizes. Okay, so again, we have a real small detail brush, goes a little bit larger, and these are all labeled by a number. So a 0, a 2, a 4. There's an 8 round, and I don't know. This is probably a 10, and then a 12 round. Okay, so just a selection of different brushes. The brushes will be located in this bag, one of these black bags. And again, there's a selection of all those, and I think I did 3 of each, so shouldn't be any issue of having a brush. For some odd reason you can't get a brush, make sure you talk to me. I have extra ones in another cabinet. Okay, our acrylic paints, probably a pencil so you can do your drawing. In the drawing, you'll do a sketch or a pre-drawing, and then you'll do a finished drawing on painting paper, okay, that I give you. On my sample, I just used a simple white piece of paper. That'll be fine for painting. Okay. Probably use cardboard. I tend to like to use cardboard for a paint palette. Okay. We do have other selections of paint palettes. We have these nice white. Actually, use these more for oil painting, but they can be used for acrylics also. A nice white colored, and it's like a glossy, so that it cleans up real nice. Paint palette. And they're pretty easy to hold. Usually hold with your thumb like this. You can mix your paint on. Okay. And we also have these. These are usually typically for watercolor, but they'll work for acrylics too. And they're just a palette with different sections marked off here, so you can mix your paints and not let them run into each other. Okay. The reason why I like to use the cardboard is I can actually mix my paints on this, and I don't have to go clean it up afterward. Okay. I can just go set it over in the corner, let it dry. And then I can actually mix paints over top of the dry paint the next day. Alright, and then when I'm all done with it, I just throw it away in the garbage. That's why I like to use this the most. Something like this. Again, you want to use water, and all this paint's water-based, so if you get your clothes and whatnot too, it can be cleaned out by the laundry, typically. Alright, but on this thing here, it'll clean up real nice with some water, so just take and run it under the sink and it's done. Alright. Okay, so I actually ahead of time just put out some colors here on my paint palette, and again I use the blue, yellow, red, and the white. All right, and you see here they're probably I squirted probably a quarter size, maybe a little bit larger amount of paint on the palette. All right. What I don't want to do is put all kinds of paint on this palette and then not use it, and then it dries up and we just waste paint. All right. So probably a quarter size at a time is plenty as you're doing this mixing process. Okay. Now the colors that we're going to paint here are pretty simple. The red, the blue, and the yellow are real easy. I just take those and I put those down right off the palette. Paint them in. All right. I found with these acrylic paints, they're a little bit cheaper acrylic paint, so you typically want to do like a couple of coats probably. Okay, so you do one coat, let it dry, do a second coat. It doesn't take very long to dry. It probably takes 10-15 minutes and it's done. All right. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to worry about the colors in between. So like the colors in between the yellow and the blue, okay, are green. So we have a yellow green, a green, and then a bluish green. All right. Anytime we mix these colors together, we want to use the lighter color first and add the darker color. All right. So the color I'm going to go after first is a yellow green, and then I'm going to go towards green, and then a blue green. So my yellow green, I'm going to start with yellow, add just a little bit of blue. When I say a little bit, like just a little dab, it's going to make a yellow green. And then I'm going to add another little dab, it's going to go to green. And then I'm going to add another little dab, it's going to go to a bluish green. Alright? And I can mix all three of those colors on one palette. Very simple. Alright, now if I want to go for my, if I mix yellow and red together, I'm going to create oranges, right? Start with the yellow, add a little bit of red, make yellow orange, orange, red orange. Mixing just a little bit at a time. Okay, and then the other colors I'm after are in between the red and the blue. Again, the red is the lighter color. So I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to add blue, and I'm going to end up with a reddish purple, purple, and then a bluish purple. Right? And that should complete the outside of the color wheel. Now when I mix these tints inside, which maybe I'll show you one here, okay, I'm going to start with a white, and then I'm going to add the yellow for instance, just a little bit of dab of yellow, just to make a whitish yellow. And I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to make it a little bit dark. A little bit more, make it darker yet, and then a little bit more, make it dark. Alright? Now, if I go to, let's say green. Alright, I have to mix my green first by mixing the yellow and the blue together. And then I'm going to take my white and I'm going to add this green to my white slowly, a little bit at a time. Okay, so we'll show the mixing process, and then I'll paint a little bit down. And I'm going to go with my green, so I'm going to start with the yellow. So you can come in here just a little bit closer so you can see this. I don't know, I'm going to use like a medium-sized brush because I just have a small painting I'm doing. And this will work fine to mix. Alright, if I move to a different color, I'm going to want to wash my brush out. Okay, and that's on a different video, wash and brush. So you want to wash brush, it's very simple. Takes a little bit of water, a little bit of soap, done. Alright, so I'm going to start with my yellow here. And I'm not going to mix right into my quarter size yellow spot I have. I'm going to put this off to the side. And again, remember I'm mixing three colors, three green colors. So I'm going to make 3 spots here of yellow. Okay, now I'm going to pull, you see here I'm just going to clean my brush off by running it on the palette a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to pull just a dab of blue out here, right off the edge. Okay, so it takes just a little bit. And that may even be too much. So I have, I don't know, a brush full here of the yellow, and I'm adding just a teeny little dab of the blue. Okay, and you see that actually made almost like a green for me. Okay, instead of yellow green, so I'm going to add just a little bit more blue, and I'm just going to take this one all the way to green. There we go, and that's a pretty good green color right there. Okay, now at this point, after mixing that green, I probably have enough blue in my brush right here that can make a yellow green, but I'm actually just going to take just a, and remember I had quite a bit the last time, now I have just even less. It's not going to take very much. Okay, and you see there it makes a yellowish green, or a lime color. Alright, and then I'm going to make a real dark green on this next one, or a bluish green, so I'm going to take even more paint. Alright, I'm going to mix that in. Okay, and that's still not quite enough, so I'll take a little bit more. Okay, and you can see I have 3 different greens. Now this resource here that I have, this color wheel, this is a good one to go by. So you can come up and make sure your colors either come semi-close to matching it. And different paints have different tints to them. This is a more expensive paint on here, so you may not get these exact colors. But you want to get semi-close, okay? And there's also another resource actually up on the board. There's another color wheel that you can see. I don't know if you can see it from here or not, but you can see up there. That's another good resource to go by, so you can just take your brush up or palette, paint on the edge of the palette, and see if it matches. Okay? Alright, so I'm just going to take these, and you're going to see here if I take and paint them on the edge of my palette. Okay? You can see when I paint them together, you can see a yellow, green, a green, and then almost a bluish green. My bluish green, I could almost add a little bit more blue. So we'll go ahead and do that. Get a little bit closer to blue. That's why it's called blue-green. There we go, a little bit more satisfied with that. You can see here if I paint it down, back over top of that, now you can see a big difference between the 3. Okay? Then I'm going to go to my my color wheel that I designed, and I'm going to take this paint, and hopefully I mixed enough that I can paint in this thing. Okay? Again, I cleaned my brush out before I do this, but I'm just going to take my yellow here. I'm going to put my yellow down. And you want to take a little bit more time and make sure you paint this in nice. Me, I'm just doing a sample here, so we're going to say that's our yellow. Again, I got a little bit of green in, so I'd want to make sure my brush was clean. Okay, I'm going to leave 3 spaces in between, and I'm going to paint blue. 1, 2, 3. Paint my blue in. Again, take more time with either a thinner or wider brush. Make sure you get this painted in really nice. It looks good. I'm just going fast, okay? So again, here I have the yellow, I have the blue, 3 spots in between. Take my yellow, green. Okay, it didn't turn out very yellow-green because I didn't wash my brush. Take my green. And you'll find this stuff dries pretty fast, so you want to, work with enough speed to get it done. Not too sloppy though. Okay. And I have my yellow going all the way to my blue painted in. Again, doing it nicer than I did it. Okay. Questions, make sure you're asking. Any waste of material, again, please don't waste the material, but mix enough that, again, you don't come up with the drying ahead of time and stuff like that, okay? Alright, so make sure you check out the video for cleanup and paint away.